How did a man holding the key to New York City end up with a prison ID number? This wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a systematic dismantling of a billion-dollar empire. In just a few months, Sean Diddy Combs went from a celebrated icon to a federal inmate, losing over $700 million in the process. But the timeline of his collapse is so perfectly executed, it feels less like a coincidence and more like a targeted strike. The question is, who was powerful enough to pull the trigger? At his absolute peak, Diddy was untouchable. Picture September 15, 2023. The stage is set in New York City, with his face beaming from the Jumbotron at TSX Broadway. Mayor Eric Adams, calling it Diddy Day, hands him the key to the city, celebrating the release of his new album. The media dubbed it the bad boy of entertainment meeting the bad boy of politics. It was a public display of ultimate power and influence, a symbol that he had the full backing of the system. He wasn't just rich, he was woven into the very fabric of power. But this moment of triumph would become the haunting prelude to his ruin. And then the first domino fell. Less than 6 months after that ceremony, federal agents were raiding Diddy's mansions in Miami and Los Angeles. But he wasn't the only one in the crosshairs. That same year, the man who handed him the key, Mayor Eric Adams, was indicted by a federal grand jury on corruption charges. This was never just about one man. It was a clear message to everyone in his orbit. The takedown was comprehensive, and his closest allies were falling alongside him. The network he had built was being systematically dismantled. So who had the power to orchestrate this? The whispers in the industry point to unseen forces. Rapper Ice Cube went on record stating he believes Diddy was absolutely targeted. He spoke of shadowy gatekeepers, a secret club that controls the levers of Hollywood and the music industry. And Lord Jamar was even more direct, describing a powerful gay mafia that operates like crime families, with different record labels acting as the heads of the families. The most shocking part of his claim? Diddy wasn't the godfather. He was just a high-level member, a lieutenant who would become expendable. But how did he become that person? His former bodyguard, Gene Deal, reveals a darker truth. He claims the man we see today was manufactured through what he calls grooming and learned behavior. He says a young Sean Combs learned everything from his mentors: the rampant drug use, the alleged mistreatment of women, the secretive and destructive lifestyle. Gene Deal recounts seeing this world firsthand, implying that Diddy was molded by the environment created by powerful figures like Russell Simmons and Andre Harrell. This wasn't the real Sean Combs. It was a monster created and enabled by the industry's elite, who showed him that this behavior came with no consequences. His ultimate downfall began the moment he thought he was powerful enough to challenge those very elites. For nearly 2 decades, his billion-dollar status was bankrolled by a partnership with the liquor giant Diageo, the company behind Ciroc Vodka. That deal made him over $400 million. But in 2023, Diddy sued them, accusing Diageo of racial discrimination and neglecting his brands. They settled out of court in January 2024. And then, in a move that seems far from coincidental, March 2024 brought the first federal raids on his homes. He had bitten the hand that fed him, and the reaction was swift, brutal, and perfectly timed. The CEO of Diageo is a former military intelligence officer, leading many to wonder if this was a corporate dispute or a strategic retaliation from a powerhouse with immense resources. The financial bleeding was immediate and catastrophic. Diageo quietly severed all ties. His network, Revolt TV, began to implode, with staff quitting and advertisers fleeing. His $60 million private jet was sold. His Beverly Hills mansion, the very one raided by the feds, was listed for $61 million. But the silent killer was the legal fees. Experts predict he will spend over $10 million, an eight-figure sum, just on his defense. Prosecutors moved to seize everything, alleging his entire empire was a racketeering enterprise built on crime. The fortune he spent a lifetime building began to evaporate almost overnight. Then came the sentence. With charges that could have put him away for decades, he received just over 4 years in prison. Many were shocked, but some insiders weren't surprised. As one commentator bluntly stated, Diddy has strong ties with the government. This suggests his light sentence wasn't a loss, but a deal. The haunting question is, what did he offer in return? What names did he give to the feds? Who else in the upper echelons of this so-called mafia did he expose to save himself from a life behind bars? But Diddy wasn't done playing the game. His lawyers immediately made a calculated move, requesting he serve his time at Fort Dix, a low-security prison. The stated reason? To enroll in a special drug treatment program known as RDAP. The unstated reason? Completing that program could shave up to a full year off his sentence. With time served, he could be out in under 2 years. This was not a man accepting his fate. It was a strategist planning his next move, using the system to minimize the damage and plot his return. And then the most shocking twist of all. Just 3 days after his sentencing, Donald Trump confirmed from the Oval Office that Puff Daddy had asked him for a pardon. The ties between the two moguls run back decades, from charity events to his 2005 wedding. This reveals Diddy's final, most audacious card to play. It begs the question, what secrets does this man hold that are valuable enough to be traded for a presidential get-out-of-jail-free card? His story is the ultimate cautionary tale, a rise built by the system and a fall orchestrated by it. It leaves us wondering, in a world of elites and gatekeepers, is anyone ever truly safe? Or is everyone just one step away from becoming the next example?